My name is Sarpradama and today we are going to learn chapter 6 of class 8, that is Introduction to HTML5 and CSS. Introduction to HTML5 and CSS. Now students, you all already know about that internet has become a vital part of our life. Nowadays everyone are using internet. Internet is very important thing nowadays because it is a vital role in our life. Now present because we can see that we get information, most of the information from the websites. The websites that you go www. Any other website like google.com or in yahoo.com, facebook.com, these all are websites. The websites are made by several pages. These pages are called web pages. So students, you have to remember which language is used to create these pages. So the answer is HTML. The answer is HTML. The web page contains something like text, graphics, audio, links. That link that is in the websites are called hyperlink. The link which is present in the website called hyperlink. So hyperlink is present and some text is present, audio, video, graphics are present. Now students, you have already know that which language is used to write these web pages. So the answer is HTML. So what is the full form of HTML? So the full form of HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. So when we break apart two words, hypertext and markup language, so we have to know what is hypertext. Hypertext is an ordinary text, but it having a special features of linking, of connecting with one page to the another page. It can connect with one page to the another page because it having a feature of linking. And a markup language. Markup language is a special symbol. Markup language is a special symbol called tags, and it shows you how to display text, in which part the title is contained, in which part heading is contained, in which part subheading is contained. These all information are stored here in the tag. So tags are a special language which hold these text, title, heading, subheading. Now the tool by which we can create the HTML, there are two types of tool. The first type of tool is HTML editor and the second one is text editor. So what is HTML editor and what is text editor? So HTML editor is the editor by which we can create the HTML without knowing some high level of web language. If you don't have a knowledge of HTML, still you can create a web page by the help of HTML editor, because this provides you a graphical interface called WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG. The full form of it is what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get is the full form. So whatever you will see, you will find, you will get. Then this is a very much useful tool to create the HTML, and it does not require a knowledge of HTML. But unlike text editor is a normal text editor like Notepad or a WordPad. Notepad or a WordPad is a normal text editor. Unlike HTML editor, you need a proper knowledge of HTML for creating in a text editor. Okay, so if you create any one of the text editor, you should have to give the extension. You should have to give the extension of the HTML. So the extension of HTML is .html. So you need a web browser to interpret your web language called HTML. So many of the web browsers, that is Google Chrome, Apple Safari, Internet Explorer, Opera, Mozilla Firefox, and many others web browsers are there in which you can interpret your web language. Now we have to know that how do we create an HTML document. For creating an HTML document in a text editor, you should have to go to the start, then click on all program, go in accessories, then you can select your text editor like Notepad or WordPad. So now I'm selecting Notepad here, and after that I am writing my first program of HTML. Here I will write the bunch of this code in the notepad, and after that I will go to the file and click on the save button. There I will give my file name and choose the extension .html, because the HTML extension is .html. So I will write .html. Now if I want to open from the web browser, so I will select any one of the web browser like Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox, Opera, or any other web browser. Now I will go there. Now after selecting any one of the web browser, you should have to go to the open in the file tab. You will see the open option. You just have to click on the open option. There you can select your file which you have made in Notepad. Okay, so after selecting it, you can see that the result, the interpretation, the web page has been created, and you can see on the web browser. Now the main things that I want to tell you about for creating the HTML program, you need to know three things. The three things is that tags, elements, and attributes. Tag, elements, and attribute. Three things you have to remember: tags, elements, and attribute. So tags, what is tags? So tags are the building blocks of any HTML program. Tags are the building blocks of any one of the HTML program, and it contains elements. Tag specify rules. It is specifying rules and syntax. It is specifying rules and syntax, and you always remember that HTML is not a case sensitive. If you are writing HTML in a small letter or you are writing HTML in a capital letter, both are the same meanings, because it is not an case sensitive. So we can say that a tag is the building block of HTML program, and it specifies the rules and syntax. Okay, and the tags is enclosed in less than bracket and greater than bracket. Between less than bracket and greater than bracket, the tag is enclosed. It is specifying the rules. Now the next thing is element. What is element? Element consists tag, on tag, off tag, and a content. Three things are there: on tag, which is this one, paragraph tag, which is on. Now content, we can write anything in between, and then we have to close it. So opening tag, closing tag, and content, these three things are called elements. Element is of two types. The first thing is container, and the second one is empty. The first thing is container, and second one is empty. So container having three things: it having on tags, it having content tag, it having off tag. But empty tag, only and only on tag is there, but not have off tag. It is only having on tag, but not having off tag. Okay, so for example of container tag, there are so many examples of container tag. There are paragraph tag, bold tag, italic tag, underline tag. Okay, so many tags are there. for you can say that it is a container element. But according to the empty, there are few are there for empty elements like BR tag, which is line break tag, and HR, which is horizontal ruler tag. These two types of tags are called empty tags. Okay? Now the final thing is that attribute. What is attribute? So property provide additional information to enhance the functionality of a tag. If the tag is, if your tag you are using, like suppose you are using paragraph, so paragraph is written in the simple text. But if you are writing, if you want to just give you enhancement of any one of text, suppose you want to just be in changing the color of a paragraph like red color, so you need to give the value, the additional information you are entered. Suppose that this is the horizontal ruler, this is the horizontal ruler, but this is a very simple line, it will be created by the help of the horizontal ruler. Now I want to increase the width of the horizontal ruler, so I will have to give the information, the additional information. For giving the additional information, I have to write width equals to 50%. Width equals to 50%. So the horizontal ruler, the size of the width will be increased of 50%. Now this way you can give the additional information. This is called attribute. Whenever we give the information, additional information to enhance the functionality, this is called attribute. Tags, you have getting tags are contains the element, tags specify rules and syntax. Okay, elements consist on tags, container, and the of tag. Okay, and attributes is the property which gives the additional information by which it can enhance the functionality. Now, rules for writing a code. So if you are writing a code in a HTML, so you used to follow the rules. So what are the rules? So as we know that the HTML is not a case sensitive. If you are writing HTML like this way in small letter, if you are writing the HTML in the capital letter, both are the same meanings because this is not a case sensitive. Okay, now next rule is that container tag must be closed. Container, if you are using this container element, so you have to use on tag, container, and off tag. Off tag will be there. If you are not writing, it will not execute. Okay, so container must be there. So this is the rule for writing a program. Now next one is value must be enclosed in a quotation mark. Here you can see that horizontal rule. Horizontal rule width is a property equals to 50%. So 50% should be enclosed in a quotation mark. Otherwise, it will not run. Quotation mark is the inverted comma, we can say. So you should have to give, and it must be closed in a quotation mark. The value must be closed in a quotation mark. Now fourth one is when embedding you need to enclose inner tag before closing outer tag. What is the meaning of this? It means that if you are opening any one of the tag and inside of the tag you are giving any another tag, so you must have to enclose inner tag first, then after you have to close outer tag. So here is the example. P tag is there, and then after B tag, under this inside the P I am giving the B tag. What I am doing, I am embedding the tag. So for embedding it, inner tag must be closed first. Here this inner tag is not closed, so we can see that this is wrong. So P after B and hello, and after we have to close this B, and then after we have to close P, because inner tag must be closed first, then after auto close will be closed. So this is the rules for writing the program. This is we are going to study HTML document structure. HTML document structure. HTML, when we are writing a program, we need to know about the structure of the HTML. So the structure of the HTML, in the HTML document there are two sections are there. The first section is head section. The first section is called head section, and the second one is a body section. The first section is called head section, and another one is a body section. So two sections are there. So the first section, which is head section, what does it do? So it does provide the information of the title of the web page. It just provides the title of the web page, as well as it can also give us the additional information. It can also store the additional information of a body section. So what is body section? What does it body section do? So the body section contains text that display web page along with the other tags and attributes. What does the body section do? Body section contains the text that display the web page along with the other tags and attributes. It can also store some many other tags and attributes in the body section. Body section can store many things. All the things are stored in body section. Only few things are stored in head section, but all the things are stored in the body section. Body section stored all the contents like text, like the tags and attributes, all the things. Okay. Now HTML's elements used in body section. So in the body section there are two types of blocks, two types of labels, two types of levels of elements are there. Two types of levels of elements are there in HTML element. In the body section there are two types of elements are there. The first level is called block level element and the second one is text level element. The first one is block level element and the second one is text level element. In the block level elements you can find some tags, and in the text level you can also find some tags. So in the block level you can find a paragraph tag, you can find a heading tag, you can find a horizontal ruler tag, and you can also find an alignment tag which is called center tag. You can also find a center tag, you can also find a horizontal ruler tag, you can also find the heading tag, and as well as you can also find the paragraph tag in the block level elements of the HTML element used in a body section. Now in the text level you can find some elements like a bold section, bold, italic and line break. Bold, italic and line break you can find in the text level element. So in the text level element you will find bold, italic and line break, and in the block level element you will find paragraph, heading, horizontal rule and center. Now formatting element, we have to change something in our text. So first thing we have to change, which is the heading. So what is heading? Heading is the main title that you give after writing any one of the content. Suppose that you want to write the essay, so you have to write computer first, and then you have to write the essay and so you have to mention by the help of the heading. For heading in the HTML there are 6 levels of heading, which is H1 to H6. There are 6 levels of heading. Here you can see HTML body section H1, which is hello, H2, which is hello, H3, H4, H5 and H6. And you can see the output. Hello, which one is the big, and then little small, then little small, then little small, and it is, you can see it is very small. It is S6. H1 is very big and S6 is very small. H1 is very big and S6 is very small. This is the heading level of. There are 6 levels of heading. Okay. Now paragraph. What does the paragraph do? Paragraph is a long piece of text. And the tag, it is P. We have to start. Which type of element it is? It is a content element, because we have known about there are 2 types of element, container element and an empty element. This is the container element. Now line break, it is used if you want to go in a new line. Suppose there is a one line. This is my country, and if I want to go down this country, then you have to use this new line option, which is called line break. So by the help of line break you can go in a new line. Now horizontal rule is used for draw a line. Drawing a line. Suppose there is a sentence, and below of this sentence I want to draw one line. So if I want to draw one line, for this you will need a horizontal ruler. Now comment section. Suppose that I am making any web page. I am making one web page, and I am giving to someone else to edit any web page. So what is happen? Anyone cannot edit if they will not understand which tag we are using, which attribute we are using, which settings we are doing. So to know this, that how many settings we have done, how many tags we are using, what is the purpose of that setting, I have to write it. But I don't want to display on the web page. For this, I need a comment, sir. Okay, I used to give the comment. So for giving the comment, we have to use less than bracket, then after exclamation mark add hyphen hyphen, and after write your comment, and after that hyphen hyphen and greater than sign. This way you can write a comment, as well as you can also use the comment tag, which is a comment tag, and write your comment, and after that close your comment. This is the container element. Now bold. What does the bold do? So bold is the tag by which we can emphasize the text, by which we can emphasize the text. Bold is a tag by which we can emphasize the text. We can bold your text. We can do the dark in the text. So by the help of this thing. CSS. What is the full form of CSS? The full form of CSS is Cascading Style Sheet. The full form of CSS is Cascading Style Sheet. Okay. Now, why do we use CSS? What is CSS? What does the CSS do? CSS is a set of style. CSS is a set of style for defining layout of the HTML. CSS is the set of style for defining the layout of HTML. Now this makes the web maintenance very much easier. Suppose that every website need a maintenance. Okay, so if we do not have a much proper functionality of the website, then it is very difficult to maintain our web page. So for maintaining our web page easily, we need this cascading style sheet. It is very beneficial for maintaining any one of the web page. Now, what is the benefit? What is the benefit of CSS? What is the benefit of CSS? CSS control layout of many documents from single style sheet. If you have made a single style, or we can create a single cascading style sheet, so you can retrieve in the web page only one time. So all the layouts of the web page is stored in a single unit. This is the benefit of CSS. Now next one is more precise control of layout. Okay, if you have so many code, you have a bunch of code, so you can all the codes you can just precise, you can compress all the codes into a single unit. This is the benefit. Next is applying different layout to the different media type. Okay, so students, you have to know about, we are creating a web page. We are creating a web page not only the desktop, laptop, but also for the mobile phone. Mobile screen is very small and the desktop, laptop screen is very big. So now we are creating a web page for a mobile also, and for a desktop or a laptop also. So for desktop, there is another screen. For mobile, there is another screen. So we need to maintain that layout by the help of this CSS. So this is the benefit of CSS. Now more advanced option, it having so many advanced options. By this we can maintain our web page, and also we can declare our layout. This is a very much benefit. So what is the structure? What is the structure of CSS? So you can see here, this is the structure of CSS. Here you can see the first one is heading 1. Okay, so heading 1 is a tag in which I have selected for doing layout. I am changing the layout of the heading, so that I have to select this heading. So this is called selector. Now in the selector, I have select the heading. Now I have to change the color of the heading. So I have to give the color. I have to write the color here, and then put the colon and then write the blue, which is called value. So two things is there, property and value. Property is the thing on which we want to change it. So in the heading, what I want to change? I want to change the color. So what color I have to change? I have to color here in blue. So blue is the value I have given. Now similarly font size. Font size is what? Font size is the property. And on which size I have to change? I have to change the size in 20 pixels. So I have given what? I have given property and the value. So property and value both together create a declaration. Property and values both are created a declaration. Now applying CSS. If you want to apply the CSS on a web page, there are three ways. The first one is inline. The second one is embedded, and the third one is external. First one is inline, second one is embedded, and third one is external. So inline, suppose that there is one tag which is called horizontal ruler. So inside the horizontal ruler, I want to give some declaration of the CSS. So I have to write the attribute called style. I have to write the attribute called style. In the style equals to, I have to mention the values in the form of property and values with enclosed in a quotation mark. Enclosed in a quotation mark. Now this is called inline. This way we can apply the CSS in place of attribute. In place of attribute we can give CSS. Now embedded, which means you are embedding, you are embedding, which means inside you are attaching your CSS with your web page. For attaching or for giving information of a web page, you need to mention all the information or store the information in the head section. So I have already told you that there are two sections of a body of the element, which is body section and head section. So you have to store all the information of a layout of body section in head section. So in head section you are storing the CSS. This is called embedding. So for embedding it, you have to write HTML, then head, then after you have to mention the style tag inside the head section, and then write your select your target, which tag you want to insert. So I want the HR tag, then you just do middle bracket. This is called braces, and then width and colon, and then 50%, which is void value, and property, which is value and property you have to mention, and then close the bracket, and then close the style tag, and after then you have to start to write your program in the body section. Okay, now this is called embedded. Now next one is external. Okay, for external you need another text editor. Inside the text editor you have to write a style tag. Under the style tag you have to write a select, property, values, all the things you have to define, and then after you have to save with the extension of .css. You have to extension with the .css. There is a .css extension you have to use. You have to use .css extension. Then after you can use CSS from outside. From outside you are using. That is why it is called external. So three things you can apply by the CSS. You can apply the web page by three methods. The first one is inline, second one is embedded, and third one is external. Now you are getting. Now it starts to write the CSS. How to write the CSS? So the first thing is background property. So background property, we can use the CSS. For background property we have to use the CSS. Now here is the background property. Now first of all we have to change the background color. So for changing the background color, first of all we have to select. On this tag we have to apply. So the selection of the tag is called selector. So I will select the body section. Now put the braces, and then write body color, colon, and your value. Your value must be your color name, like yellow, red, blue, green, or you can also use hexadecimal code. You can also use hexadecimal code instead of this name. Okay, now background image. In the background image, you also use the selector first, body, and then after background image, and then colon. After that colon, you can use a URL. What is the full form of URL? Uniform Resource Locator. So you have to give the URL. After that, your URL must be in quotation mark. Your URL must be in quotation mark, and then close the braces. Okay. This way you can change the background image of the body. Now text property. Okay. Text property. So text property contains text alignment, text decoration. So in the text alignment, you can write only, you can select your selector first of all. Then after you have to write text align, and first you have to give the value. So what value you have to give? Left, right, center, and justify. Left, right, center, and justify. Left, right, center, and justify. Now text decoration, you can decorate your text. You can decorate your text by giving the color of the text. Okay. So here you have to give the text decoration by using, you have to write the selector first. So you have written the selector first, then after you have to write the text decoration equals to, you can select your values by writing underline, overline, line through, blink out. You can also write none. You don't want any value, so you can write none. Now if you don't want any decoration, then you can write none. Now if you want to change the color of your text, so you have to select by using writing the selector. Okay, and then after you have to write a color and the colon. After that you have to write the value of color name, or as well as you can also use you can also use hexadecimal code. Hexadecimal code you can use. Now from font property, font having so many properties, like you can change the font family. You can change the font family by writing first of all you have to write a selector, then after you have to write font hyphen family equals to font name. Either there are so many font names like Times New Roman, generic, cursive, serif, etc. These are the font names. You can write your font name, and font name must be in quotation mark and then close the bracket. Okay. Now font size. You can also increase the font size. You can also decrease the font size by writing the value. Here, first of all, you have to select your selector. Then you have to write font size and colon, and then mention your value. So your value must be XS large, which means extra large, and smaller, and X large, which means extra large. Then large, it means very big. Okay, and percentage you also can define, and smallest you also can define, and many other values you can give for increasing and decreasing the size of the font. Now there is one of the most values thing is that of the font property is only font. Okay, there is one type of property, it is font. Okay, in which you can just define font family, you can define font size, and you also can define font style. So font style, font size, and font family all together you can define in this property, which is called font property. So for selecting the font property, you have to select any selector, like paragraph I have selected, then write a font here. Then you have to write the font style, which is oblique, and then font size you have to write 12px or pixel, and then font family you have to write fantasy or any other, like here you can see generic, cursive, serif, etc. Okay. So all the CSS creation you have getting all the things I have mentioned. Now one important thing I want to say, that the font size. The font size measure in a pixel or EM. Okay, EM. Okay. So if there will be 16 pixels, so you have to note down that 16 pixels you have to mention by 1 EM. So 16 pixel equals to 1 EM, you have to note down it. Okay, so now that's all about this chapter. I hope you have learned everything about this chapter. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in online classes. Thank you.